Hey, what's up everybody? Mike here, and today I want to do something that was kind of different than the usual, and I'm going to go over 7 different items that I recently sold through eBay, and they were purchased through thrift stores or other outlets. Now the reason I want to do this is for a few reasons. It'll give you kind of some insight into the things I've sold, and it'll also give you insight into why I purchased them, because I can talk a little bit about each item and why I looked out for it. And I think this will help people learn as the series goes on to look out for these things to purchase them, but also about different brands and different information about these brands. The first item I want to talk about are these Johnson & Murphy dress shoes. I found these at a local thrift store for right around $7, and they're very nice. And as soon as I got home, I didn't know anything about these shoes. I figured they would make money. They looked really high quality. The bottoms weren't very worn. And as soon as I got home, I started researching them, realized right away they would sell for a solid $35. And as you can see, they ended up selling for $37.95. And this just gave me a brand of shoes to look out for every time I go shopping. And I think this style of shoe does very well. From like a men's dress shoe perspective, it's kind of fancy, it looks nice, it has nice color. I'm not sure about how comfortable they actually are. I couldn't fit them, they were too small for me. But you can keep a lookout for Johnson & Murphy dress shoes if they're in decent condition. And I mean, you can pick these up for $15 and make a decent profit. They actually only cost me $7 to ship. The buyer was located relatively close to me, which I lucked out because shoes can be expensive to ship. I did notice something also. The wingtips were selling for a lot more than the standard dress shoe in this brand. The next item I want to talk about is this vintage Tasmanian Devil hat. Now this is something a lot of people might have passed up. It's quite ugly actually. The color scheme's horrible. It's like this dark green and like turd brown almost. It looks terrible. But I knew this would sell right away. It had the official Looney Tunes tags on the back, and the front graphic was embroidered in really high quality, so I knew it was legit. And I really like how the graphic goes from the front of the hat onto the brim, which is kind of unusual. When I got home, I researched it and I realized it wasn't worth a lot of money, although I only paid a few dollars for it. And this is something you can easily look out for at your local thrift stores when you're shopping. A lot of thrift stores have big bins full of hats or hats hanging on the wall. And this is the kind of hat most people wouldn't snag up because of the color scheme and how old it was. But there is a market for vintage hats, and there's also a market for character hats. So always keep an eye out for a brand or a character people will know. So here I have some women's scrubs. These specifically were Oscar the Grouch, and they were actually for like staying green. They promoted staying green and throwing trash away and things like that. Now women's scrubs are a very good seller, specifically very small sizes and very large sizes because they can be hard for nurses to find. But also nurses that are in school or active need scrubs for their schooling or their work. And more importantly, people in general like to be unique. Nurses like to be unique. So any graphic-based scrubs are pretty easy to sell. And the reason for that is they want something different than their colleagues. And you know, everyone's going to have tons of different types of scrubs. So if they see something a little different, kind of like this where it's promoting staying green but also Oscar the Grouch, it's an easy sell. And honestly, I could have probably got a higher price for this, but I decided to price it low and try to flip it quickly. Now you should note that this and all of the following items I have not paid over $5 for. It's right around the $2.50 to $3 range most of the time. I do what is called an average cost of goods, where I take everything from the lot that I bought and then I multiply the cost among those items evenly rather than individually keeping track of each price. Now here's something a little different. I just wanted to show you it is possible to do retail arbitrage on eBay as well as Amazon, and this is a great example. I picked these up. These are soap dispensers, Kimberly-Clark, which means that I believe they're graded for like industrial use or actual commercial use. And I picked these up from Office Max for $1.99 a piece. They were having closeout on them online, by the way, and they were shipped to my house for free. I actually had 5 of them. I'm not sure what I did with the other 2. In this listing, I only had 3. I might have sold them elsewhere. But as you can see, I paid $2 for them. I got $8.95 plus the shipping was covered, so I made good money on them. And it was a really quick sell, actually. It only took a few days to get rid of them. And when I went to look back to see if there was more, they were already sold out. But keep an eye on closeout prices on all the big department stores and even places like Office Max. Now here's something that just happened to be lucky. when I was thrifting. I bought this thinking this was a baseball team, but I knew the hat was brand new. It had the stickers on it. It has Mountain Dew on the side, which is awesome. Turns out this hat is for esports, which is basically like professional gaming. I'm not sure exactly who Paul Rodriguez is, but I did some research, found out the hat was for Paul Rodriguez from Primitive, and it just happened to be when the esports season started. So luckily for me, esports had just started for the season. As soon as I put the hat up, it sold very quickly, and you can see for 20 bucks. And I believe my local store usually has hats at 250. Now here's something you should personally look out for. This is something that 95% of my viewers probably would have passed up. These are baby fat women's shoes. Now the thing is, a lot of people aren't looking for baby fat, and these shoes aren't appealing to most people, but I knew they would sell instantly. Luckily, I kind of grew up in a neighborhood where these shoes were popular when I was a teenager. And I'm not sure if baby fat still makes clothing, but it was more popular in the mid 90s. But as you can see, it has the Reinhardt emblem on the side, plus it says baby fat on the bottom. They were in excellent condition, and they were a pretty common size. I posted these. I didn't expect them to sell for 30. I expected to get lowballed, and they sold very fast. So keep an eye out for baby fat shoes, specifically women's with the mid 90s styles. Now here's a pretty good deal I got. I actually got this for $3, I remember. It's an Abercrombie & Fitch jacket, and it's a pretty small size. The measurements are on the listing. It says medium, but they were probably closer to a small. Now obviously anything Abercrombie & Fitch is pretty easy to sell, especially if it looks nice. So this jacket was not hard to sell at all. I think I accepted an offer for like $21.95 or something. For me, I like to flip things, so sometimes I'll accept offers lower. I've heard a lot of chatter about people not wanting to accept offers because they get lowballed. It's pretty easy just to ignore lowball offers, so I don't see the issue there. Alright everyone, well I hope you enjoyed this. It was something a little different. I just kind of wanted to go over some things I've sold and purchased over recent months. I know a lot of people ask me how I flip things when I'm thrifting. If they do well, do they actually sell? And here's just a quick rundown so you can see for yourself. In the next episode, I'm going to go over some Amazon sales and where I got those because I think that's also important. But I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button.